Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come.
Yeah, Monday. What's up, everybody? Monday morning. Hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. It's a Monday morning. It's the Gap edition. Gap edition as we are coming down after the weekend's news. So let's go ahead and dive right in. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you are a regular returning member, hit the like button. It helps the computer to know that people are actually watching. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the S&P this morning, we are down about 13 points. Big gap down last night in the overnight sessions. Now, one of the things that we talked about on Friday's DMC was the fact that we could anticipate a Friday afternoon sell-off, which is exactly what we saw happen. Market sold off Friday afternoon, and then gapped down last night on the news of what happened with the Saudi oil field attack. Now, that gap down, when we were looking at it, we had said, I anticipated the markets kind of falling a bit more, and then all of a sudden we kind of put a big halt to that and gave it a reverse. Now, we had looked at potentially a 15-minute supply level as a chance to get in if you wanted to give that one a go, but even looking at the 15-minute supply level, my advice was I wouldn't be placing it overnight. If it got into there while I was still awake and while I was still trading, I'd want to see what does the arrival look like. Right, and as we came into it, we got a very meh arrival and more of a meh move around it. Right, as it just kind of went nowhere. Good observation by one of our subscribers about potentially a reversal at this area here where it was the high, which is where we're kind of just chopping below right now. I think we could see a breakout above here. Now that we get some basing inside of there, and then the gap fill for a potential reversal would be up in this range. Not as much follow through as we had seen earlier, but don't panic, right? Don't look for a panic reason to buy or a panic reason to sell. If we get a breakout above 3,000 and it seems like a clean one, I think then it might make sense. Nasdaq, same picture, same level that we had talked about last night. The Nasdaq was actually down at 1.5% last night, before then reversing and starting to head up as it never got really any lower than that, and now we're starting to kind of head back up, but still chopping sideways. So keep an eye on the supply and demand areas that are a little bit further away. Crude oil. Now, crude oil was the impetus that started all of this with its huge move up, and we were up about, at one point, we were up almost 12%. Our talk last night was to look for a candle-to-candle reversal when we got back to this 58.83, and we've gotten a little bit of that move in the last hour or so as it's kind of come back up. Now, why did I say a potential for a candle-to-candle reversal? Well, the fact is that where that line is the 4-hour level was resistance. So old resistance oftentimes becomes new support. I didn't really have any other levels to lean on back there, but this one might be the best one. And so if you wanted to give that a go, you've got very limited exposure using a candle-to-candle style, and you're still in that position off of a little bit of a bounce. So for as far as today goes, looking at that, if we do come back down into there, that could become a breakout to the downside. If we come back down into there on a 15-minute chart, there's a little level right in here that was formed, but I don't want to lean too much on most of those levels, most of those areas. Let's see if we get any more basing in front of here. If this level doesn't work off of a candle-to-candle reversal, you could get another move down, as that's a basing opportunity. Gold gapped up and didn't really do a whole lot, so we actually have no levels in here in gold that we wanted to concern ourselves with. We got a nice little move on Friday's gold trade, for those of you that were able to catch it. But now we're just in between some major levels of demand and supply, and there's nothing in here that I necessarily want to force. You can tell how much tighter it is on an hourly chart, and those are a lot of wicky candlesticks with not a lot of movement happening in between. In our bonds and currency markets, so the ZN, we had a really nice breakdown trade in the bonds, and now we've reversed and started to head back up. We gapped up in the overnight, had this little rollover here, and then now we've popped back up. Now we're basing in front of this level. So remember what basing in front of the level does, and the idea of basing in front of the level is the kiss of death. So just be aware of that. If we don't come up into here with some strength and we just kind of meander before coming into here, then it's going to be a much weaker level and will not be available to be taken. In the Aussie, we are still between our levels of demand and supply. Didn't add a single new level from the prior week. Our 4-hour is still continuing to trend higher, but our momentum is definitely waning. If I throw a momentum indicator on there, you should be able to see that my momentum is definitely waning on this rally up. So with that slowing of momentum, it definitely gives me a little bit of cause for concern, or I don't necessarily want to lean into this, this long right here if I base in front of it. The euro selling off pretty good over just the last couple of hours from the European Open. I normally would want to take a reversal back to the European Open level, except for the fact that we've already retested it. So looking at this on a 15-minute chart, I like this open right here, but then we got a retest right in there. Let's see if this area here becomes a potential for a retest here as the markets are falling pretty quickly in the euro. Let's see if we get a retest back up here to this 15-minute zone, and we may get another bite at the apple if price gives us a little bit of a bounce off of there, because there's plenty of room for the euro to fall. All right, the euro's got lots and lots of downside. It's got clean air, essentially. So any sort of a rally back up to here might give you a chance at an entry. Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar, we had a breakout on Friday. So if this breakdown worked out really, really well, wound up hitting target, and then we gapped up on the news of what happened in with the oil. However, we talked potentially about continuing the downward move because that gap up didn't change our trend direction. Our trend direction remained exactly what it was, and so now maybe it's better to look for a potential on a reversal. We may get another shot right here, so just keep an eye on that area up there for later today. And then our Great British Pound and Japanese Yen. The pound level that we've got a level of supply up above us and a level of demand down below us. This level of demand is right before a parabolic move up, and I think this one could be a very effective level. Keep an eye today on the updates, depending on the arrival as we come into there. I think that one seems to make pretty good sense. We had a lot of red candlesticks here in a row, but they were all very small, narrow range candles. Then we just very recently got an expander range candle down, and we've rallied back up. We could see a rollover from here on an hour-to-hour candle, a candle-to-candle hourly area, if you want to give that one a look-see. And then for the Japanese yen, our next opportunity would be somewhere up in here, as we've had a gap up, and our next rally would come to this base drop with this little pivot below drop base drop below a pivot high for a potential reversal. So all of those areas, could work out. One of the things I'm afraid of today, let me just be quite blunt about it, is somebody overreacting and chasing a trade because they wake up and they see that the market has moved overnight. There's no reason to overreact and chase a trade. Take your trades, let them come to you, and then when that opportunity, makes itself available, then you push the buttons. So if you guys have any questions, please send us an email, support@tradersarmy.com. Till tomorrow, everybody, I will see you soon. Later.